Martin's Amaewhule-led Rivers State House of Assembly plans to set aside October 29 as Commemoration Day for what it calls unprovoked attack on the legislature. The Assembly reached the resolution yesterday during its plenary at the auditorium of the Assembly quarters on Aba Road. Lawmakers said every October 29 would henceforth be used to remember the mindless burning down of the hallowed chamber of the Rivers State House of Assembly a year ago, the attack on the official residence of the Speaker, and the brazen demolition of the Assembly complex. They accused Governor Siminalayi Fubara of masterminding the attacks to rid the Assembly of its perceived political enemies. Speaking on the matter, House Leader Major Jack drew his colleagues' attention to the sad events, especially the burning down of the chamber on the October 29, 2023 by some arsonists. Speaker Amaewhule said, "It has been 386 days since the heartless burning down of the hallowed chamber of the House, yet no conviction has been made." In a statement by his special assistant on media, Martins Nwachukwu, the Speaker also said it had been 341 days since the State Governor Siminalayi Fubara supervised the demolition of the Assembly complex on the December 13, 2023 without knowledge and approval of the House. Amaewhule described it as a sad reminder of the brutal attacks on legislature, which he described as a bastion of democracy. He said, the House resolved to set aside every 29th of October as a solemn day to commemorate all the iniquitous, scandalous, and malicious attacks on the Rivers State House of Assembly by Governor Fubara, the statement read. Let me start with you, Maka. What do you make of this story and this move by the Rivers State House of Assembly?
Honestly, I just think it's for me, it's playing to the gallery.
Okay, why do you say that?
There is absolutely no need for that. If you were to commemorate a lot of things, indeed, the Rivers State House of Assembly, so many things have happened in Rivers State that you want to commemorate, and if you continue to go in that direction, you'll probably dwell so much in the past. The same Rivers State House of Assembly, hallowed chambers, what they had, I mean, I wouldn't say spilled blood in the form of killing. Eventually, the person didn't die.
With regards to the maize attack?
We had so many things to remember. So for me, yes, all of this has come. People should begin to look for a way of resolving them and getting to a point of stability. If you need to review them, okay, but not with the intent of giving them life beyond what they should be. So you can review them, we can talk about it as analysts, we can do so many things about it. But to get to that point where you say you will not... in this same River State, we've seen situations where courts were closed down for years. So how many things? I think the crop of politicians we have now should do a lot of soul searching. The Rivers politicians that we have. Let them not think that it will just pass away. Posterity will judge them. So whatever they are doing now, and whatever is happening or not happening, I think they need to be sober beyond trying to, doing it maybe because of the moment. They should think deeper, and in handling of issues, remember that you are now statesmen, you are leaders of this state. So what is the best thing for the state? At the material time now, what is the best way to move the state forward? There are so many things in the state at the moment to actually consider, to look at, and also to, let's hear things that will develop the state, move us away from where we are. Think about development. How many children are in school now? What is the state of our education? What is the state of our... What is the state of the living condition of the average Rivers man? Those are things that we want to see. So when they continue to dwell on their own issues, politics, I don't think they are helping us.
All right. Okay. Now let's look at a little bit at what you've said and how practical it can be, considering the current the state of things between the executive and the legislature in Rivers State. Now, you agree with me that in the course of their legislative tenure, they have also made laws, yes? And so far, has the governor implemented any, considering that the governor has said that he has chosen to de-recognize them, or would I say, the governor has de-recognized them. And in subsequent actions of the governor, he has chosen to work with the Okojumbo faction of the State House of Assembly. And then moving forward, if they are to legislate, or you say they should, the legislations they have done so far, has it been recognized by the governor? Has the governor in any way engaged the Rivers State House of Assembly in course of governance? So what would you have them do?
Well, at the moment, it is not in their hands. Thank God they're in court now. Very soon, I hope, I pray that the process is expedited so that at the end of, within a very short while, we'll put closure to all of this and we know exactly what we're dealing with. The governor himself will have his own, he's telling his own reasons, giving his own reasons why he's recognizing one and why he wouldn't recognize and all that. But let them finish the court process and let's really get to know, get all of this behind us and move forward. I think that is what, for me, is I expect the judiciary at this moment to help. Why they have delayed and why this thing has dragged on up till now is what I cannot even tell. Because for me, all of this should have had resolution long, long ago. At the people, whether the judiciary, whether the federal government, the National Assembly, are they really thinking of the Rivers people? Why has this matter lingered this long? It's inexplicable to me, and it does look to me like some people just don't care. Otherwise, whether you like it or not, the governor has been spending Rivers money. And the money is being spent. We can see it. The projects are there. Even the assembly we're talking about, the new one is springing up.
A new assembly?
Yes, building. Already building. So, isn't our Rivers money that is going?
Now the question will be: are these spendings now legal? That would be another issue.
Well, that's
are the spendings legal? Because so far, with the court judgments that we have seen, first of all, the judgment of the lower court and then the judgments of the higher court, the appeal court, it appears that the governor is spending illegally, and these things have consequences.
I don't know about consequences.
They have consequences because in the appeal, if I can quote what the appeal court has said. The appeal court, when addressing the actions of the governor, the appeal court spoke using very strong languages. They were not messing around when they were speaking. And they held him in contempt. They rebuked his apparent disdain of court judgments, and still going ahead. And even after the appeal court, the governor is still doing that. Now, if the Supreme Court, like you said, the matter is in court, finally gives a judgment in that matter, and it swings any which way, if it swings in favor of the House of Assembly, the governor will have to face the consequences of spending without a budget. And if it swings in favor of the governor, then he's insulated, and then the Assembly will have to face the consequences of televised defection, So these are the issues. But pending when Supreme Court gives that judgment, like you said, you're expecting that governance should happen. And is there governance without the legislature?
So what would you expect? Should everything be without the judiciary actually, getting us to a point where we say this is resolved? What will happen? That the entire Rivers should be shut down and everybody sit down and be watching?
All right.
No. That's why I say, for me, the judiciary should have taken charge and taken care of all of this and we would have gone. The same appeal court, is it not the one that is set up a panel that is still...
So why? When you say the judiciary in this instance, the judiciary have done their part, haven't they? The High Court has given judgment. Haven't the High Court given judgment? The Appeal Court has given judgment.
The Appeal Court is still on the matter.
Another set. 2 judgments so far has been given, and it has not been obeyed. So what makes you think that if these consolidated appeals by this 3-man panel set up by the Appeal Court president, what makes you think if judgment is given, it will still be obeyed? Now, everybody has set aside or decided to, be guilty of contempt pending when Supreme Court gives judgment. So now, are we going to blame the judiciary that have done their part and is still doing the part? Or are we going to blame the state actors who have refused to go by the judgment of the court, whether it favors you or not in this instance?
No, for me, when I mention the judiciary, I mean up to the point of resolution, which is the Supreme Court. I do not see anybody, not even the governor, not anybody, that would say, okay, Supreme Court has said this and you want to disobey. No.
All right, very well.
A lot of things people can decide to interpret and do so many things. Because I say, okay, I'm on appeal already. And for some, they tell you, at the moment you're on appeal, that automatically means a stay of whatever.
A stay of execution for a judgment is usually granted by court. But then we'll still get back to that. Let me ask Daniel, what do you make of this story?
Yes, let me even start from where Mr. Opaka said the court should have been done with some of these issues. On a lighter note, sir, in my state, Edo State, the legislators were not even sworn in. They were in court till their tenure expired.
How many? I think 14 of them.
They were not sworn in. They were in court. The first court has not even given judgment till their tenure expired. So I think for the Rivers crisis, within a year, the Federal High Court, the Court of Appeal has even making. In my state, till they finished and everybody went home, the first court of instance did not even make a single pronouncement. Now that aside, I think that we must come to appreciate the position that we occupy in life and not make mess of it. And when you say, remember, we're talking about the River State House of Assembly. We're not talking of Martin Amaewhule-led's House of Assembly. Let's be careful when we do some of these things. They are just occupant tenants that will leave, that has time. There's a time bound that they will leave. And so when we make caricature of the positions in a temporary place that we hold and try to now make it, because you must remember that even the PDP is not the only political party in Rivers State. It's by privilege that your party won that elections and you occupy that position temporarily. It has a date of expiry. And you now see that the explosion that happened, because there were strong allegations there, that you allege that the governor did that. And the police said they are investigating. The police has not made an official statement as to what happened. And you are now saying you already taking the 29th of October every year. When there are serious businesses, when there are serious things that the Rivers people that brings us together, that would forge a common goal for everyone, is left at the back. And then we're talking about an explosion that all of us wake up one day to hear that it happened in Rivers State. And is this the first one? Even after that, we had an explosion in the APC's secretariat. We had an explosion in APP, the secretariat. We had an explosion close to this hotel Presidential. And as a legislator, as a representative of the people, I expect that you use that particular day to put pressure on the executive. Executive now, I mean the police, the Nigerian police, to fish out these criminal elements in Rivers State who use dynamite as explosions to certain things in Rivers State. And so all we now do is to remember, oh, October 29th, oh, there was an explosion. That's what you want me to remember? Is that what you want the Rivers people, the taxpayers of Rivers to remember? Remember about what? What we should do is to put pressure on the Nigerian police to say, this is 1 year after. Can we please know? Can we please have an official statement where the Nigerian police is today? Has there been any arrest? Has there been any investigation? What is happening to that matter? We hope that matter will not be swept under the carpet. Is to say that that day will be marked. Marked as what? When there are things that Rivers people should remember, Rivers people should rejoice about, that you make a law and say a particular day should be something, this should be that. I should be remembering when there was a dynamite, there is an explosion in the Rivers. For me, that is to people who put the child's play and leave serious business ahead. There are serious business. And there is also a business of Christ, the crisis of whether they are members or they are not members. And in resolving all of this, in appealing to the bloc that elected you, you want me to remember that a house was, there was a dynamite explosion, or there was an explosion. Let me not even say dynamite, because the police has not even told us what exactly. Yes, it is. So I think that a day like this, when you remember as members of the River State House of Assembly, is to put pressure and in fact call on the Inspector General of Police to call his men, and let's know that by today we should know how far are we with the investigation, that if after 1 year a single arrest has not been made, then we should put pressure on the Nigerian police to find solution to what has happened. It is not to tell me that every May 29, no. There have been invasions of the River State House of Assembly more bloodier than this, that people even remember. But it's not something you should bring to your people to remember, because those are not good days to remember. And then we should now sit and say, okay, every May 29 in River State is come on now, come on, let's leave jokes aside.
Special day of anniversary for attack on legislature. Now there are allegations that have been made, and that cannot be swept under the carpet.
It's a serious allegation.
These allegations are serious, Daniel, and I want you to dwell a bit on that.
No, see, he who alleges must prove.
Has the burden of proof.
Yes, you must. See, if you say you suspect that it was Daniel Momo, prove. And I'll give you days where I was at that time. Prove. If you allege, because that is not your jurisdiction. But I expect as an oversight, you would have visited the Nigerian police, you would have spoken to the Commissioner of Police, you would have done some things. Instead of alleging, it's a grave allegations that the state governor is the one responsible for the explosion. No, come on. I think that if they are alleging, the good they will do to the Rivers people and to the generations unborn is to prove these allegations. To say that the River State governor is the one who is responsible for what happened. But anything outside of that, I think, is a joke.
Now, let us look at the fact that they talked about the demolition of the assembly complex after that detonation happened. And one would wonder, with what happened during the local government election after the inauguration. I think that should be October 7th. What happened on October 7th in Rivers State when certain local government secretariats came under attack. Ikwere local government, I think, it suffered a lot of damage. And the governor set up tribunal.
Panel of inquiry.
Yes, a panel of inquiry, thank you, for these attacks. Now, one would wonder, why didn't the governor set up panel of inquiry when that incident happened in the Rivers State House of Assembly? That is a state property as well, and that state property is housing an arm of the government.
No, first, I do not want to believe that it is every criminal actions that a state will set up an inquiry.
You're talking of the legislative house.
Yes, I'm coming. That was an explosion that happened overnight. It was not probably maybe there was an explosion there and there was an explosion at the government house and then you will see that there's a coordinated attack on the government of the state. But I think that the explosion at the River State House of Assembly, I think, should rest squarely on the domain of the Nigerian police to fish out and to prosecute. But the issue of the local government, we knew what happened. That ran towards all of that happened at the things that happen at most of those local government. I think it is not just a criminal case. We need to find out, or the state need to know, what is the root cause. Because if you look at what happened in most of those local government, they were not things that were stolen or anything. There were actions that deliberately just want to make sure that no governance take place in those places.
How is it different from the attack on Rivers State House of Assembly complex?
Okay.
Make it make sense to me.
Should we say that the governor should put up an inquiry on the explosion that happened at
It's any crime
APC?
letter?
No, I'm coming. APC secretariat or the APP secretariat. And so the governor should set up an inquiry to find out what happened at the APC secretariat. No, that should be what the police should do and report back and investigate.
So why can't
and
the
prosecute.
police, why can't the governor, hold on, why can't the governor, because in this instance, you are trying to separate the local government.
You're breaking my line of thought.
You still go ahead. You're trying to separate the local government from the Rivers State House of Assembly, and you're also bringing in the secretariats. In the first instance, the secretariats, every property in Rivers State is under the care of the state government. Just like every land belongs to the, hold on. The governor's job is to secure lives and properties.
Absolutely.
Properties, whether it is a government property or it's a personal property. When houses collapse, it's the government that investigates. The police investigates as well. These lives are lives that belong to the government. Now, when we narrow it down to this perspective, you are saying, in essence, if I'm understanding what you're saying, that the attack on the local government secretariat, is it that it has more weight than the attack on the Rivers State House of Assembly complex?
No.
Now, when you say that attack on local government secretariat is attempting to stop governance, is the attack on Rivers State House of Assembly...
you broke my line of thought.
Well?
I was laying a foundation to...
Okay, go ahead.
See, we all knew what happened before that election. The court gave directive to the Nigerian police not to provide security. In other words, that was an illegal election by the Federal High Court in Abuja. The governor, remember, the eve of that election, he was at the INEC secretariat, where he learned that certain policemen were withdrawn from that building and all of that. And he came very hard. And you could listen to some of the statements he made against the IG. I do not expect that the Nigerian police will be the one to investigate what happened in the local government crisis that will bring support to everybody. Because in the first place, they were not, the court asked them to withdraw. I'm saying that what happened in the Rivers State House of Assembly is purely,
related?
No.
The analogy you just gave with regards to the police and the attack on the Rivers.
When did the attack start? When did the attack start?
Are they correlated?
Yes, the police was not part of the process. The court bars the police from being part of that process.
When was the attack?
No, you see the attack. Hold on. No, I think if you look at a journey, you forgo that journey and look at the crisis in that journey, and then take the product of what happened, then you will not make a sense of what led to that thing that happened.
Right,
the police cannot tell me that by today they have everything covered for what happened in that elections. We know that elections was a build-up to what happened in most of those local governments that were burnt down. So I do not expect that I would ask a Nigerian police in an election where the court bars that police from partaking in that election, and then you now ask the police to go and investigate what happened. Remember that those local governments were on lock and key. I mean, were on locks before the swearing. After the swearing in, why do they vacate that premises? Obiakpo local government has a police station close to it, just by its fence, the sheer fence. That local government was under attack for several hours. Where were the police? And so you will now ask the same police to go and investigate what happened in those things, I think the government is right to set up a panel of inquiry. Right. That even if the police is culpable, they should report to that inquiry and make their own presentation, so that we are clear to say, look, even if the governor is fingered, let him come before that panel, let him waive his immunity and come before that panel and give his own presentation. But I doubt that the Nigerian police will give a fair investigation regarding what happened in the process of that local government that led to the police leaving all of those council areas.
All right, very well, Daniel. I want to ask you questions based on some of the things.
No problem.
You said. That was why I did not want to interject anymore. Now, you also said that the police, in this instance, cannot investigate the attacks on the local governments.
I would not have confidence in them doing it.
You wouldn't have confidence in them doing it. And in this instance, the state government is right to investigate that particular issue. Do you recall the governor visiting Ikwere local government and what he said in Ikwere local government?
Okay.
On, in the aftermath of that attack. Let me remind you of what the governor said. When the governor visited Ikwere local government and he was addressing the people and the press, he said, of course, that he was going to set up a panel of inquiry to investigate what has happened. However, that he's confident that this attack was not done by his people. Okay. I will repeat it again. The governor said that he was going to set up a panel of inquiry to investigate the attacks across the affected local governments. However, that he is confident that these attacks were not done by his people. The governor already had taken a position and exonerated a certain set of people from being culpable in these attacks. Now, that's on one hand. Now, a governor that has said that is well within his rights, according to you, to hold a panel of inquiry. And this statement, prior to that panel of inquiry, gave rise to why people called that inquiry a witch hunt of the perceived enemies of the governor. That's on one hand. Now, the police, on the other hand, to a large extent, you've talked about their culpability, which, of course, it's indefensible. Like, it doesn't make sense that a police station is sharing a fence with Obiakpo local government. We discussed it that day, and I even brought it up. I said Obiakpo local government is sharing a fence with the police station. How come the local government was under attack and nothing happened? However, this attack happened on the 7th of October. Elections were done on the 5th. Up until the 7th morning, the police had sealed this local government. And you recall that on June 18th, when that clash that led to the sealing of the local government happened between the outgone chairman and the Asabuja set of people, because Asabuja came out on a video to say he was going to do what he did. And then the police sealed it, and the IG said that the police will only vacate when election is duly done. And he was building on that as well. But regardless, I am not making a case for the police, but I'm looking at it holistically from a different perspective as well, so you could react to them. Now, the police vacated because election has been done on the 5th. Inauguration was done on the 6th. And this local government chairman had to occupy the local government on the 7th, and they left on the 7th of October. Now, if you say the police cannot, because of their non-engagement during the elections, cannot investigate this crisis, and you do not have confidence because of their actions so far, one could understand that. However, the local government secretariats are as well property of the state government, as well as the River State House of Assembly complex that houses the legislative arm of the government. Now, Okojombo faction is legislating inside government house in a government that should enjoy separation of powers. Make it make sense to me that Okojombo, whom the governor has recognized, his faction is legislating inside government house where the governor is dying sleeps and governs, and it's okay. And after that detonation of the House of Assembly complex, Demolition happened immediately. When that demolition happened, how then would the police investigate and get details or forensic information on what actually transpired? I'm sorry I took a lot of time, but I had to lay this bare.
No,
so
there are a lot of things you asked.
Yeah.
First was that the statement from the governor saying that
his people
are not involved. You and I know that the governor enjoys litany of security advices, security informations, privileged ones at that level. I think we should first ask ourselves, what kind of panel did the governor set up? The judicial panel of inquiry means that whatever that is found out will be used for prosecution. It was not just any fact-finding mission, anything that of that such. Regardless of his statement, that is one. Two, regardless of his statement, it's a judicial panel of inquiry.
Set up by who?
Set up by the River State government. See,
who is the head of River State government?
No, please, no, I'm coming. Let's remove. Let's remove emotions.
No, this is not emotional. No, I'm not being emotional.
No,
I'm not saying you are being sentimental about it.
No.
Hold on, John Daniel. You said judicial inquiry. Set up by who? By the executive arm. Who is the head of the executive arm? The governor of River State. And the governor of River State, while addressing this crisis in Ikwere local government, said his people are not part of the crisis. You know, he could have, if the governor had that information, but yet kept it to himself and was neutral, spoke neutrally and said, we are setting up a judicial panel. Nobody will be holding the governor by his words. Do you understand what I mean? But when a leader comes out to make statements like that, then goes ahead to set up a judicial panel of inquiry, he set up. It wasn't like it was set up from federal government, or it was set up by the CJN, or it was set up by any other person, or it was set up by a mixture of the legislative, the judiciary, and executive. He single-handedly appointed those people. And he has already given his judgment prior to that judicial panel. Make it make sense to me. I want to understand this defense you're making.
No, I think that we should appreciate one fact, that man is no longer the PDP candidate. That is the governor of River State. And his actions are not, it's not sinful. Let's look at the governor of River State. Right. Said that his people are not involved. Remember during the Yaradua's time in office, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan said his people are not involved in these killings. It was the same Goodluck Jonathan who went to the creek to negotiate with the then, what is this their name again? This Boyloof, all of them, what is this their? Mend, thank you, sir. He was the one who went to the creek to negotiate. It doesn't mean that because he has said that panel, whoever the panel indicts is going to prison. That's not true. The panel would have to sit. It's a judicial panel of inquiry. It will have to sit, decide on those things, and then those things will be, even if for prosecution, it will be used at the court of law. And everyone has a right, whether the person is indicted. It doesn't mean that person goes to prison. But because you now say that the governor made certain statement, and so in his capacity as the governor of River State, he does not have the right to now so present, to now so set up a judicial panel of inquiry on behalf of the Rivers people, I think no. Two, I think it is not correct too to say that the place where the governor dine and wine, and that's where the legislature sit. That's not true. Where are they sitting? No, please, no, hold on.
Go ahead.
The government house does not house the Rivers, the governor's bedroom alone. That's not true. That also is a diplomatic center. That place you see, it's like saying that the people who paid the River State government visit are paying a visit to his bedroom. That's not true.
Does the governor dine?
No, that's not true.
Does he carry extra governance activities there?
No, that's not true. That's what I'm saying. Let's get it so that for the millions of persons who are watching.
Let's go ahead.
No. The government house is not just the bedroom of a governor. That's not true. There are a lot of things that goes on. The day I entered the government house, I walked almost several miles away going to see. That's not the only thing that exists in government house. That can't be true. That's one. Two, we have had, when the crisis in Rivers State under Amaewhule came up, sir. What's that speaker's name then? And others moved. It was in government house they were sitting. But they were not sitting in Amaewhule's bedroom. That cannot be true. They were sitting in government house. There are facilities for them to sit. And remember, if there are crises or they cannot sit in where the legislative place where they do their business, they can hold their sitting anywhere in Rivers State. Anywhere they so decide, they can hold sitting in Rivers State, except they go outside of Rivers State. Let's make that clear. Government house is not just the bedroom of the governor. There are a lot of activities, a lot of offices, a lot of things goes on in Rivers State. I mean, in government houses. Rivers State is not an exception, including all others. Now, lastly, I think that in fairness, like I told you, no one would say they have confidence that the Nigerian police would investigate that issue. I think the explosions that happened in Rivers State, yes, the police is well within its own right there to investigate and to prosecute. And I think that what we should do as a people is to put pressure on them to do that. But that because the governor made a statement and so he can no longer know, that means the state will be in anarchy. So I think the governor is well within his own right to, whether any statement that he has made, he has put up a judicial panel of inquiry. It's not a fact-finding mission.
All right.
And the judicial panel of inquiry has a lot of bites to do. And so whoever that is whether indicted or anything, you are free to go to a court of law and seek redress.
All right. Very well. Daniel, but having said that, it is still very important to note that on the Nigerian Constitution, there is something called separation of powers. And that it happened in Amaewhule's, when Amaewhule was governor, doesn't make it right.
No, there are a lot of examples I can give outside of Rivers State.
Hold on. I don't care where it's happening. That's the thing. It's not right. It's not right. It's not acceptable.
Also, where are they supposed to sit?
Daniel, hold on.
Okay.
It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. Now, hold on. There is something called separation of powers. Why can't the National Assembly sit inside Aso Rock? No. Let's say National Assembly comes under attack. There are no other places in Rivers State. There are no other facilities in Rivers State outside government house for them to sit and legislate. Daniel, hold on. You've had your say. Let's just assume that a court right now has authenticated Okojombo, the faction. There is no other place where they can
a court authenticating.
Hold on. I am not interested in whatever lower court's judgment.
Okay.
What is standing as far as Rivers State is concerned is an appeal court, pending when that appeal court judgment is vacated by Supreme Court. I have never seen anywhere that an appeal court will give judgment, and you hold the judgment of a lower court.
No, you appeal now.
So now,
he appealed the judgment.
Hold on. Pending when that is done,
status quo remain.
The appeal court judgment stands. So you cannot on my show bring the judgment of a state high court and hold it superior to that of appeal court. I will not allow it to happen. Now, moving forward, before I move over to the IPOB story, I will ask Obaka Dokubo his final statement on this. Obaka, please, I need clarification and probably some enlightenment. There are separation of powers because Daniel Momo is making a case that the houses of assembly can sit inside government house to legislate. Make it make sense to me. Is that acceptable? Should that be the norm? Can the judiciary convene a hearing or rule or whatever, have their judicial activities inside the government house? Let's say that the court had issues, or the court is under renovation, or the court, God forbid, is bombed. the court has no other place to sit and conduct its judicial activities except inside government house. Because we're talking of 3 arms of government here. If the legislator can sit inside government house and legislate, and we say it's okay. So probably when anomalies like the courts giving judgment inside government house starts, we should also say it's okay. I want to hear what you have to say as we move to another story, Obaka.
See, I think a lot of what we're talking about is we're talking about physical things now. I understand the Constitution gives the powers to the executive to provide for these arms of government that I've mentioned. So if today the judiciary has an issue with where they are sitting, it is on the executive to provide where they will sit and do their business. And that is what it is also to the legislature. And therefore, it just gives the latitude to the executive. So if the legislative house is unconducive, after all, it was, again, built by the executive, just as they are doing now, becomes unconducive, and there is need for them to have alternative, it is the executive that decides where or make provision for it. The issue of provision of, separation of powers, for me, we should, we can sit down here as close as we are, and yet in our hearts, we are as far away as we can be. For me, the executive, the judiciary, the legislature, it's a matter of what what you have for your people, what you think of the job that you have been given to do. The governor, the speaker, the, what is it called? The
Chief Judge.
The Chief Judge. Here in the state, and we're having it everywhere in this country. The executive, the governor, is buying cars for even the Chief Judge, for the legislators. Should it happen? A lot of aberrations, if you like. So this issue of separation of powers.
Isn't it time we start calling out these aberrations?
Exactly. The point is that if we have to take it on, the much that you are talking, there are so many things that shouldn't be. But I also believe that if you know your onions and if you know your job and if you are truly committed to the cause of the people, that a governor provided a house for you, shouldn't buy your conscience. If you are committed, you have, mind you, for the legislators, you represent your people, you represent a constituency. The governor himself represents, well, his own, everybody's
of the state.
But you are primarily responsible. And therefore, would you now, because he says, come and sit in my office and then do your business, will you now, because you are sitting in his office, abandon your people and move on with him? You're responsible to your people. And I think that is what is missing in all of this. The people that we have given a job to do, where is their loyalty? It does appear to me, much of the time, especially for this crop of people, their loyalty lies not with the people,
but with their paymasters.
with whatever, whoever. And that is just the issue, especially with regards to at this particular point in time. Until we get a crop of people who will truly be loyal, and at every level of government, to the constituents, to the suffering masses, to the people who are paying you actually. Your paymasters should be the people. It is the taxpayers' money. But it's unfortunate.